For today's little mini lesson, we're going to be discussing how to represent and solve problems using division. Let's go ahead and jump into this first problem on the left over here. All right, we're going to take time to read it out loud first, and then we're going to go back and reread it a second time. When we read it the second time, we're going to highlight and underline important information. So it says, Laura wants to plant 28 flowers in her new garden. If she plants 7 flowers in each row, which expression could be used to find the number of rows Laura will have? All right. So now when we go back and read it this time, we're going to underline and highlight information, important information. In that first sentence, it says Laura wants to plant 28 flowers in her new garden. The important information here are the 28 flowers. The next sentence, it tells us that she's going to plant 7 flowers in each row. Also important information. And it's always a good idea to make sure that you highlight the question or underline the question, because that's really what you're going to be answering. They give you information in any word problem. They're going to fluff it up, give you a bunch of information, but you always need to focus on what is the question asking, so I can make sure I answer that question. So the answer here is not going to be like an answer like the answer to 5 times 2 is 10 or 3 times 6 is 18. We're not looking for a single digit answer. Our answer is going to be what they call an expression. Okay? And that expression is going to be used to find the number of rows. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about 28 and what the 28 flowers represent. Those 28 flowers represent the total amount of flowers in her garden. And the 7 in each row basically, once again, just tells us how many flowers are going to be in each row. So one thing I do want to point out, though, before we get started, is that row is just another vocabulary term that, as a third grader, we should make sure we understand which direction that when somebody says a row is from left to right. So when we do our representation or our drawing, we should have our flowers or that we're going to be planting going from left to right. All right, now let's go ahead and work on our representation. Remember, to represent something is basically to draw a picture or to draw some type of diagram to show your thinking. All right. So since there's 28 total flowers, and there's 7 flowers in each row, we're gonna group flowers together 7 at a time until we have a total of 28. So this is how it's gonna look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7, and here's our row, left to right. All right. So, and I'm gonna put a 7 right here. So I can keep track of how many is in each row. Then I'm going to do another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put a 7 out here. And I want to group them together. Now I have a total of, how much is that? Let's use my green. So that's 7 plus 7. Right now we have 14. Let's keep going because we need a total of 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Circle it again. That's another row. That's another 7. That gives us 21. Still not 28. We need to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is another row. So let's add, that's plus 7, which is going to make 28. So now that we have our 28 total flowers and we show that we have 7 in each row, we want to know how many rows, or what is the total number of rows. That's what expression we would use. Well, let's figure out. This is a total of 4 rows. And how many flowers are in each row? 7. We have 7 flowers per row. So a multiplication sentence that we would use here. And how many total? 28, right? 28 total. So a multiplication sentence that we could possibly use here would be 4 times 7 equals 28. Or we could say 7 times 4 equals 28. But remember, our job today is to solve this using division. The reason I want to start with multiplication, because if you know your multiplication facts really well, then it's easy. It's going to be quite simple to write your division sentence from this. So for this one, think about the division sentence as almost a reflection. And you start with the 28. So this would be 28, and it's a reflection of the multiplication sentence. So 28 divided by 7 equals 4. And this one can be written as 28 divided by 4 equals 7. Now that we've figured that out, we need to figure out which one of these expressions, is it going to be this one or is it going to be that one? We're trying to figure out which one we would use that is appropriate for our situation for number 3. And according to this, the two numbers that they gave us was 28 and 7. And if we do 28 divided by 7, how many rows did we determine that we were going to have? 4. So our final answer should look like this, and that is right here. That is definitely a division sign. I know it looks like a minus, but there's 2 dots there if you can really see them, okay? All right, so that's how we would go about using representation to represent and solve a problem using division. Okay, let's take a look at another problem like that. Here's number 4. And once again, we're keeping in mind that to solve this problem, we're going to draw a picture, and then we're going to do our part to solve the problem using what? Using division. All right, let's go ahead and read this one. It says, which 3 statements can be represented by the expression 24 divided by 4? All right, so we're not necessarily doing any calculating any answers here. We really have to read through these answer choices and make sure that we comprehend and take away comprehend and make sure we understand what this question is asking us, what each statement asks us to do. So for A, let's start with A. Erica makes 24 mini pizzas. She gives away 4 pizzas. Well, if she starts with 24, let's start with this terminology here, gives away. When somebody gives something away, what are they doing? What's happening? What operation? The operation that you should be thinking about is subtraction. So give away, that's basically I'm subtracting from a total. So I have the 24 is a total. The 4 is how many they're giving away. So really this statement will be written as 24 minus 4. That's not the same as 24 divided by 4. So we're going to put a little X here. Or cross through that. That's not going to be an answer. And before we move on, I just want to highlight this because this is something we need to remember. It says which 3 statements. So they're already letting us know that, hey, how many answers are there going to be? There are 3 answers here. Okay. Let's get back to answer choice B. It says Mason has 24 marbles. He sorts them into groups of 4 marbles each. Okay, well, when somebody sorts into groups, sorting groups is some form of division. So with that being said, this statement here would be written as 24 divided by 4. And that's the same as what they're asking for. So we know that that's one of our answers. Let's look at answer choice C. It says Deepak has 24 baseball cards. He puts them into piles containing 4 cards each. Once again, when somebody is sorting or putting things into piles, it's a form of grouping. Once again, that represents division. So he's taking his 24 total cards and he's going to split them into groups where each group has 4 cards apiece. Once again, that is 24 divided by 4. So that's another answer choice there. And I should have been using a different color. Let's go ahead and go to the next color. It says Kathy puts 24 stickers in 4 books. Well, does it say if she's putting how many stickers she's putting in each book? Or is it just telling us that, hey, she's taking this total and she's just putting these 24 stickers in 4 books? I think the best way for this one would just, it's not really as though she's adding 4 more stickers to the 24 stickers, or she's taking away 4 stickers from the 24 stickers. So this one is I don't there's not really a good mathematical sentence to represent this situation here. So we're just gonna say that nothing applies here. That doesn't really apply. So we're gonna cross that out. Let's take a look at the last one. Now, by process elimination, we kind of already know the last one is an answer, but let's just double check. It says Kalani fills a new bookshelf with 24 books. She puts the same number of books on each of the 4 shelves. Once again, if I'm putting the same number of books, this right here represents division because it's a form of grouping and sharing or splitting things evenly. So when you have a situation like that, once again, this would represent 24 divided by 4 in terms of if I wanted to figure out how many books she's putting on each shelf. Okay. All right. So that'll conclude today's lesson. I hope that was very helpful to my young learners out there. And I look forward to seeing you all back next time for another little mini lesson.